Hey guys, I just wanted to give you guys a little weekly recap. I just got through grading everybody's work, and I just have to say I could not be more thrilled with the work you guys put in last week. Just keep up exactly what you guys are doing. I'm going to give you a few tips on what I've seen and what I've noticed. So if you want to improve going forward, but otherwise, I've honestly have never had a group of students be so punctual and really put in a lot of effort to their work. So I applaud you guys. Be proud of yourself and just keep up the good work. So I just wanted to go over the recipe presentation requirements. So this was in Moodle, but I'm not sure if everybody saw it. So moving forward, I just want everyone to be on the same page. So for your presentations, we're going to be doing a PowerPoint or Google Slides. I think everybody did a PowerPoint, which is totally fine. But I just want to reiterate that your first slide, I want it to be your name, the course title, the date, what recipe it is, and an original photo in relation to the recipe. This is important because I look at there's 9 of you, and I look at a lot of these presentations, and sometimes the way you save them doesn't include your name. So I want to make sure that I'm looking at the correct presentation, and so it has that information on it. And then I also save some of these presentations to be used as examples for other students. So it helps me if I know which course and when this was submitted. And then your proceeding slides, I want you guys to include a recipe with the proper measurements. So if you notice that you may have gotten a few points taken off, that was probably it. A lot of you just skipped right into taking photos. But I do want you guys to include the recipe with the proper measurements listed. Another thing that I was kind of lenient on, if you really, I think, because I want to make it more clear, because perhaps it wasn't clear before, I want a photo of your entire station setup. So that includes your ingredients and equipment and your entire workstation. So just taking your phone or a camera and taking an overhead shot to show the space you're working in, and what equipment you might be using, and the ingredients. I'll show you an example because some of you did do that, but I just want to make sure that you guys understand what I'm looking for. Process photos for each step, and a photo of the final result, which everybody did, which was fantastic. It's so crazy to me sometimes that I can give you guys all the same exact recipe and everybody's looks and comes out completely different. And that was really reflected in your reflections. A lot of you made comments about, different baking times, which I think is very important. Anytime that I'm baking something or cooking something and I'm reading a recipe, I usually set my timer for a few minutes before what time it calls, because your oven may be running hot. Ovens all run completely differently. Sometimes it could be up to 25 to 50 degrees one way or the other. So if you are an avid cook, investing in a little oven thermometer might really help your cause in the end. But just being mindful, that is something that changes. Some batters looked wetter than others, but at the end result, I think everybody looked pretty good and everybody seemed to really enjoy it. I just want to show you guys to some of your colleagues' work. So we'll start here. Let me go backwards a little bit. So this is Vishnu's. He has the first slide. It has his name. It has the course. It has the date. So I know exactly what we're about to make. The next slide is the ingredients and the recipe, which is just copied and pasted. Some of you just took a photo of a printout, which that is also totally fine. I just want to make sure that you guys are focusing on the fact that you're reading a recipe. His mise en place, beautiful. Everything is measured out. That's kind of the way I want to see the ingredients. I don't necessarily need to see the brands. I want to kind of see them measured out. And then he has a step for each part of the recipe, final result, and he included his reflection. As long as your reflection is posted in the forum, it doesn't need to necessarily be there, but I think that's great. I also read it again. I also just want to make a note, you're not graded on looks. So if you don't feel like you're computer savvy and you're looking at this like, oh my goodness, I can never make my presentation look like this, that's not part of the grade. I enjoy it. I think it's visually really nice. And I do want you guys to strive to make things look nice, but that's not part of the grading rubric. Let's take another look. Karina's, another nice looking presentation. Second slide contains the recipe. It has all the ingredients measured out. So at this point, I would love to have seen even like which bowl you're going to be mixing in, if that's not the bowl, the fork that you're going to be using, things like that. And then it goes through and all of the pictures. Let's take another look. Let me see. Start this presentation. This is Roxanne's. Again, the recipe is listed. Nice picture of the mise en place. She included the items used, which honestly, if there was ever a question, like if maybe something didn't turn out the way you wanted it to, by me seeing which ingredients you purchase, I can kind of narrow it down. Like I know that Morton sea salt is actually a little bit saltier than most other salts, so if you found that that recipe came out salty, I can kind of pinpoint that was probably why. Then we have action shots, which was really great. I love that you had somebody, or you came up with some way of getting action shots. Not required, but a really nice touch. Mixing, before they're cooked, after, and her reflection. So everybody does something differently. I kind of just enjoy everyone being kind of original and different about it. So again, I'm just showing you these things because I want you guys to all be on the same page. Just so maybe you're kind of curious as to what other people are doing. And then Savina, I love that Savina went into a lot of detail. So I know I felt like I was in her kitchen. Ingredients listed. I see this is kind of what I mean by I would like to see a whole station set up. I see exactly where she's working and I know exactly what's happening here. And I can see what we're using and those things. So again, this is important for me to know what these things are. So if there are troubleshooting, I can kind of help figure it out. She goes into preheating, dry ingredients. And then so this is part of your grading. So then I'm seeing how your station is looking throughout the process. So I can see that she was still working clean, but also made a note that she was going to be cleaning. Just keeping, literally feel like I was in the kitchen with you. We're melting butter. Biscuits are done. Final product. So never think that you have too many photos. The more photos, the better. So again, like I said, I've done all of the grading. All the grading is done. So if you got 100, then I didn't give you much feedback because I think you can just continue to do exactly what you did. If you got less than that, I did upload a version of the rubric, a score sheet, and I kind of made notes so you can look at those and tell exactly where you stand. What else did I want to talk about? Oh, the math homework. I gave everybody 100 for completing it. I'm not going to do that every week, so please don't think that you can just hand in whatever you want. This lesson was more for me to know what areas we need to focus on, so I took what questions were most answered incorrectly, so then I know that that's something we need to work on. And then I posted the answers for you to look at if you are curious to see what the correct answers were. And your reflections were great. I love it. And I love everybody's positivity and giving back. So just keep on doing what you're doing. Next week we have chicken. Let's go over to that. This is gonna, so a lot of you were saying how intimidating you thought biscuits were. Surprise, we're breaking down an entire chicken. So that I think is the scariest one, but please believe that this is the least scary. Like, this is the most scary from now on, and we're just getting it out of the way. Also, we're going to be using these chicken pieces for the future. So if you can, other than the airline chicken breast that you're cooking this week, freeze each piece of the chicken separately, like by body part. So save the thighs separately, save the legs separately, save the breast separately. So then you can use those in the future, as well as the stock. We're going to use that in the future. So if you could freeze it in like plastic quart containers or something along those lines, we'll use that again in the future. So nice work. We're going to also be doing knife cuts this week. So again, it's kind of the same presentation requirements. We're going to do an overhead shot. I want to see your cutting board, the knife, and all the ingredients, and then all of your knife cuts as they go. So good work. If you guys have questions, again, feel free. We'll have a Zoom tomorrow, and I can answer any more questions live. All right, enjoy your week, guys.